everyone, this is Michelle with Scrappy Soul Sister, and thank you for joining me for this process video. I am using the September My Creative Scrapbook limited edition kit, and it is full of this gorgeous 49 in Market summer porch collection. And so I have one of the pattern papers that I'm using for my background, and my idea is to create a trellis look over on the right side. So I had a die in my stash that I used to create that white trellis with the red background behind it. I had already cut out one of the pattern papers, this leafy butterfly floral piece. And so I like the idea of having it feel like it was crawling up a trellis. So that is how I got to that point. And my title is going to be Summer Memories. And so the memories part did come in the kit. It's one of the die cuts. And so I backed it with a seagull paper and am using one of the titles from the ephemera bits, the summer for the other part of that title. So I am going to go ahead and I wanted it to kind of feel a little bit more hazy. So I am using white gesso in the three areas that I'm going to have some, maybe a little bit of stamping. And so that is up to the left. And you see, I just did my stamp. I did it like backwards, so it's a big gray splotch, but that's okay. I go with it. A lot of it is going to be covered, and then I do a couple more with the stamp facing the right way. And then I'm going to add that stamp to the bottom there, and then between my right photo and the trellis there. So my photos are of Orcas Island. So my husband and I went out there. It's been a couple of years, and this was at Rosario Resort, and so it's just a gorgeous location. And so got a couple of great pictures there, and I want to add a little bit more flowers, so I am using, I believe this is Uncharted Mariner, it looks like. So I use that and I think peacock feathers. And so I'm adding a little bit of water to my stamping so it loosens it up a bit in all three areas. And then I'm going to add that second color here in a minute. So I have already, oh, and I'm going to add some leaves. Forgot about that. So I do that with mowed lawn. So with my pictures, I've already matted them. As you can see, I use a green and white paper and then a blue striped for my mats, as well as a couple pieces from the ephemera kit. That big red cutout is from the ephemera kit, as well as you'll see there'll be a little post word that goes underneath it. And then I am doing a little bit of stamping, and I think all of that gets covered. Yeah. Then I'm going to take a look at adding just a little bit of stenciling. And so that just adds just a little bit of whiteness with some modeling paste. I had a lot of fun making these little cluster areas. There's a lot of depth and dimension, but then a lot of it gets covered, and that's okay. And so I want to use the Vicky Bouton stencil that comes in the kit. And so I decide to make some embellishments with it. So I pull out my Distress Oxide colors that I'm using with my layout so far. So I believe that is Festive Berries, Uncharted Mariner, and I think it's peak. I think it's peacock. No, it's not peacock feathers. I'll have to look at it more closely. Anyway, I use all three of those colors on just a white piece of paper, intending to cut some pieces out. So not really all that concerned about where the color lands. Just going to blend it together a little bit. I'll spray it a little bit to activate the oxide, and then I'm going to take it to my die cut machine and cut out some butterflies with, I believe it's a die from my stash. I can't remember. I'm really bad at labeling things. Things like come out of the packaging and go right into my stash, but I think it might have been a close to my heart die cut. So I've also taken that, I have that blue frame off to the right that I have put a die cut or a 3x4 pocket page or pocket piece into and trimmed it. And now I am working in some flowers up to that top left. So many gorgeous flowers in this kit. And I've already added a few to the bottom right as well. And here is one of my butterflies. So I'm going to add one to the top left, to the bottom right, and then, or I'm sorry, top left, bottom left, and then off to the right. I'm going to figure out which color I want where. So that might change a little bit. Okay, so I am taking a look at that bottom left area. I want to add just a few embellishments above my title. So I have one of the tickets and one of the stamps that are going to end up over there. And then around my framed 3x4 card, I go ahead and add some flowers around that and go ahead and start adhering some of those down. And most of these flowers are, from the little birdies and from the 49 and Market packs. But I am also going to use some of the flowers that came in the summer porch ephemera bits. So above my pictures there, I'm going to add a few tags and some flowers up there as well. Going to go ahead and glue those down. And so far, I am using that darker blue. I'm also going to add in at least one, maybe two of the paler blues up there as well as my butterfly. And then in the ivory flowers, it also came with some stems, and so some of the stems are going to go up there to the top as well. So just trying to kind of figure out where do I want this butterfly to go and the flowers. And so go ahead and glue that down and figuring out what else would I like to put there. So, so this kit is, it's very, very versatile. Yes, it has a lot of nautical um, elements, but it's is really, great for any beach type of pictures, but also, anything involving the outdoors, the florals, beautiful, beautiful water. So lots of great elements in this kit. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere my title. I have it up on a bit of foam. And I think that bottom section is just about done once I get that adhered, and then my summer on top of it. Yeah. All right. I need a little drink there. I've been doing a lot of talking. So, um, taking a look at how I want my journaling to go. And I'm not going to have a lot of journaling. It's just going to say Rosario Resort, Orcas Island. And so that part I do print out using the Pocket Life app, and you'll see that towards the end. So I add that little rope piece down below the pictures to kind of tie those together. And I am taking a look at what else I want to add to this layout. So I have those florals. I keep trying to decide if I want to add something to that top right, and I don't. But you see me audition a few things up there, but I really want the layout to read from that upper left corner down to the right bottom right corner. So I add those florals down below, and I also take a look at adding in these binder clips. And so I add one up above my photo there on the right. You'll see that come in. And I do ink all of my pieces primarily with hickory smoke. And so I do that to most of the papers. If I miss something, I don't fret over it too much. But I am taking a look at adding that bow up to the top right, and it would have been fine, but I decide to save it for another layout because it's really not doing too much up there. And I will be removing that here shortly. So right now I am adding these black rhinestones to the center of my butterflies. And I want to work in these word phrases. One of them says sure thing, and the other one says summertime. And so I do manipulate what I've already done up at that top left area so I can get my word phrase where I want it. And yeah, so then I'm happy with that. And then I have summertime on the flowers down to the bottom right. So what else am I going to do? It feels like it feels like there's a lot going on, but I really like this layout. So I just keep on going. So I'm going to add those sprigs that I mentioned earlier, some down to the bottom right cluster, and some I am adding to the top left, as well as they have those lovely little spiral wires that are with them. And so I cut those into multiple pieces so I can have those showing in a couple of different spots. And go ahead and mount it on one of the journaling bits that come in the ephemera. And I am going to go ahead and add some white to all of my flowers. And this is just white gesso that I am using here. And I am getting close to the end. I'm going to go ahead and um, finish with my flowers, and that is, I think, going to be the final touch on this layout. So thank you for watching it. It was a little bit of a longer video, but there was a lot of detail. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked it, hit subscribe or the like button or leave a comment. I appreciate any feedback, and check out my Creative Scrapbook. They have lots of great kits, and the link will be in the description. So here are some close-ups. Thank you for watching.